Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We start our working day at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. The floor is given to representative of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Lieutenant Oleksiy Chernobay. Good morning, dear colleagues. Glad to see you all at our briefing. The President of Ukraine, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, signed a decree on transfer of the servicemen to reserve after mobilization for the special period that was in the third round of part mobilization, according to the decree of the President as of 14 of January 2015, number 15. According to this decree, the servicemen will be transferred to reserve. These are the servicemen who were conscripted last year during the sixth wave of mobilization. This is the last round of servicemen who were transferred to reserve, the servicemen who were conscripted in 2014, 2015 during the special period. Taking this decision as to transfer of the servicemen to reserve is the result of successful realization of the task of the President of the Armed Forces of Ukraine concerning professionalization of the armed forces, and that servicemen now will serve under contracts. All servicemen who were transferred to reserve will be included in the operative reserve of the first round. The Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine has the task to finance the measures connected with the transfer of this servicemen to reserve and their movement to their place of permanent residence. And also they will be provided with food and with field uniform. Citizens of Ukraine continue to join the ranks of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. From the start of the year, the contract with the Armed Forces of Ukraine was concluded by 53,000 servicemen, 6 of which are officers. Another several thousand of citizens will conclude the contracts after training. Thus, each month, 6,000 servicemen who serve under contract join Ukrainian armed forces. So the priority is given to the positions of junior commanders, members of vehicle crews, and also other personnel who identify the military capabilities of the detachment. Those servicemen who serve under conscription, they will be serving in non-battle units. In the Armed Forces of Ukraine, they start large-scale tactical training and firing exercises. So these are the servicemen of the first round of reserve, and they had some training on the basis of 9th Brigade of Armed Forces of Ukraine with participation of 8,000 people. Servicemen will rehearse defense and assault, march, overcoming the water barriers in different ways. Also, they will have some tactical training and firing exercises. Also, the reservists will have all necessary equipment, and the place of employment will remain. So now 85,000 citizens of Ukraine of reserve undergo this training in the armed forces, and the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine awards servicemen who took part in ATO. During last week, 372 participants of ATO were awarded. So from the start of the ATO, the Defense Ministry awarded 16,000 participants of ATO. 11,300 soldiers got state awards. Stepan Poltorak, General of Army, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, signed technical conditions for food rations, and the ration of the servicemen was brought up to 18 different meals. Energy value of these rations are 3,500 calories, and the reinforced ration is 4,200 calories, kilocalories. And to heat this food, they will use flameless heaters. Also, they took into account, while developing these technical conditions, the best experience of NATO states, but also took into account national cuisine. And also they use new technology of packing that is called retort package that allows the food to remain hot, and it is easy to use. Now, new technical conditions for these rations are sent to the profile bodies of executive power. During last week, military field engineers cleared from the mines more than 8 hectares of land in the ATO area and deactivated 603 explosive devices. And starting from the start of ATO operation, field engineers of armed forces deactivated more than 124,000 explosive devices and demined 2,635 hectares of land in Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast. This is the end of press conference. Dear colleagues, next event is at 12.